all the beds and nightstands in the mother's room on the first floor, and we slept there for about 4 days while everything was being organized. My aunt Guillermina, old sister of my father, was in the chairs in the food together with Doña Gloria, the service lady who at a time worked in my house. I did not want a purpose dress, so my dress was blank with a long tail and fitted to the body, with 15-centimeter rose gold heels, and having this main color decoration was all in blank, gold and rose gold. Since December was about to begin, they come up with the idea of decorating everything with the branches of stinkies or shacks with Christmas lights and polar bears, little bears, squirrelings, and white servants. The day of the celebration, I painted my hair pink and did not some ways. My sister did my makeup and my nails style made and my nails long as I like then. We were a little late for church because my dad made the wrong shows. I went church. We were going to, but we go there. My sister decorated my chair with a plain with flowers and a brown ribbon. My closer relatives and the people I love the most attended the mass. The priest gave me a good advice and said that I was a beautiful 15 years old when the mistake was sure was hard. I did not come to mass, but the father sang and everything went well. At the end of the mass, my father put on me the 15 years old ran to my grandmother Mary, gave me to my sister, and I reliking it from me. Saying it's a beautiful memory of my grandmother. When we arrived at my house to celebrate after Mass, my best friend from that time, Santiago, or as we affectionately called him, Chozas, was the one who helped us the most because he helped me practice the waltz and decorated signs the garden of my house, and the beautiful roof with lights was put on it so that if rained, we would not get wet. He helped us bring the snacks to the old guests and also the alcohol. Around 7 and 9, my family was serving dinner, which was a delicious roll that my aunt Guillermina makes, with potatoes and a fruit salad with an ice cream and peaches. While they were serving guests, were also arriving, who were not very punctual, but in any case they were treated with much love. At 9 p.m. after dinner, the toast was made by my sister and the waltz was danced. The music was in church of some of my mother's students that I heard because they were good DJs and some cabinets were rented for music was loud. We did not leave the neighborhood sleep that night, but they did not call the police. I danced the waltz with my fathers and it's a tradition and then with all my uncles, cousins and friends that say that if you dance with more than 15 men you have too many men or boyfriends in your life, which seems to me to be a bad myth and says it because if causes of the whole thing about just getting a husband, which was because of what they did to show the girls associative. After the ball, the rumba began. I danced too much. I took off my heels and put on another shorter black dress. My parents allowed me to drink a little alcohol, and as a good rebel and a drag along, they reserved chips, tacos with guacamole, pecan, more cocktail. By the way, the cocktail was brandy with spice soda and coconut essences with that it only had one to get drunk. By the way, the cake was served around 10 p.m. It was a pretty as and I had a hair to make up as decoration. It was delicious. The party ended at 4 a.m. and we ended up destroyed but happy because life must be celebrated and more than 15 years later as time goes by. And I am already 19 years old. The gifts they gave me more pajamas, screens, makeup, and several uncles gave me the money With that money, I bought phone, computer, and clothes. I also enjoyed going out with my friends and eating out with my family. When I turned 16, they took me to lunch at a restaurant where they spoke well to us about it, and my sister had just resigned from a job she had, and that same day she had to give induction to the person who occupied her position. Lunch was terrible, and since the person I gave introduction to, my sister went to my house. I spent my birthday almost alone, and it was a boring day. From then on, and from day my 17th birthday, I understood I understood that I should not wait too long on my birthday because they were boring and I did not have a good time. It was not like a very important day, apart from the fact that hardly one likes November and the people just wait for it to be end of December to begin. To celebrate for my 17th birthday, there was a pandemic who in their imagination would think that one of the best moments for young people could happen in a pandemic with many restrictions without being too able to go out and enjoy with friends. These were very difficult times and many people had very bad, it affected mental health begin a whole day after having been at a time when I had expected studying at the school. I had various activities apart from going to play sport, the pandemic break, and my life stopped. You have to understand that the fact that my problems are few compared to many people's, but it does not mean that they are less important. I understood that I empathize with all the people who suffer for their mental health. The mind can lead us to many things if we do not know how to control it, and it's a pity that in our country it is still not given the importance it deserves. For my 18th birthday, long life aches of majority. I have a boyfriend. I have already graduated from the school, and I have had expectations of what could happen when I was 18 years old. There is not so much freedom since I still live with my parents, but I have a great time. That my birthday, I went out with my boyfriend, and the time we went to dance at the nightclub that I was just opening in my town. We called it Havana. It was a good birthday with a little gifts and a money, and as a good habit, the cake and a good meal could not be left out. For my 19th birthday, I hope to have great time. I will at university. I cannot with my family, but I think that's what our life is about, starting to celebrate special moments with the family we choose, with friends and enjoying each the moment the best possible way and without expectations. Number 8, the first time when I went to the sea. My family took me to know the sea signs. I didn't know it. The tree was in December. It was a beautiful to see the sea, and it is one of my favorite places in the world. To peace, I felt it. Being able to see its immensity and the power it has a priceless. We went out to do one convenience by the car. The trip was made my mother's family. We went from Anselma to Medellin by the bus, and we left at 6 a.m. with my aunt Bernarda. The family called her Ñaña with affections. My father and my sister will leave our dog Gogo at home in the care of Mr. Gloria and Mr. Oscar, a close friend of the family. We went to Medellin because the other family with whom we're going to discover to live it. There are also because my aunt Monica came, my aunt's daughter. She is my cousin, but aside we were a little, we got used to calling her out, and she feels like an aunt. When we arrived in Medellin, we went to have lunch with my aunt Monica's husband, and from there when we went to the airport for my aunt. We all made scenes and have flowers for her. We did not a calculation, and we just show it when any person arrived. Madame was one of the last to leave, and since there were so many people, we did not realize it, and we did not sing to her, but she still saw the posters, and we was more when she saw us. After that, we stayed 2 days, and we ventured to the coast by car. I went with my uncles in the car and my parents and my sister by the bus. We arrived very well, but we must go over on my highway, but nothing seriously happened. The ones that went wrong were my parents and my sister, who took 16 hours to get to Coeñas because the bus was broken. Already, we were all together in a cabin. It was very good because they went to buy food and we had barbecue. Where we stayed to the sea was in the yard, so it was beautiful to arrive and be the first thing you saw. We stayed 2 weeks. We were visiting Island by the boat and saw with sharks, and we diving and saw our first. I ate fish, but not much because everything is more expensive on the coast. My family should cook the meals themselves. I visited several islands, including the most popular island in the world, Santa Cruz de Islote, and Tintimpan. That day was wonderful. Although I had a great time, the adults almost didn't know the problems are never liking and the tow. Although I did not get better because it was my trip, my first time at the sea, I had to get the most out of it. After that, we got to know the Ciénaga de la Caimanera. We went by the wall with the guide who told us how they were protecting it since pollution is frequent. She showed us alligators, turtles, raccoons. I ate oysters, and we walked submarines. It was a super nice trip. I love connection with the nature, and it's the best way to learn to respect and I love it more. One of the activities I enjoyed the most while riding the banana is the touch to a boat that stops and so to the sea. It was a very fun and gave a lot of adrenaline. My sister did not have such a good time, since the guy left her stone in the middle of the sea and she had an acid attack, and she was hardly able to get back on the inflatable banana, and the recyclable cell phone was damaged because my uncle Horacio put it in the water to take some photos and it was completely damaged. The good thing was that he would one just like it. For this trip, I discovered a lot of the hate, and that living near the sea will be a dream for me. I can't wait to go back to the sea and be able to enjoy its smell, the breeze and the tranquility that gave me, the feeling, the sun on my feet and begin to able to jump on the beach is the best thing I had ever experienced. Number 9, the Christmas. The month of December arrives and Christmas is already felt, and more than anything in a country like ours. I felt that even the smell of the air changed and there was enjoy and a rumba. In my house everything begins to be decorated more than the entire front of the house before December 7th, saying is the first of the candles to be Virgin Mary. The special day is December 7th, but is completed with December 9th. This day, many candles are lit to celebrate another year. In my house, we pour lanterns in the shape of a little houses and we take care of them all night. We play music. Sometimes my mom makes fried pork rice with their frying pans, and my dad drinks aguardiente. All the neighbors go out to light candles in their houses and they feel very happy. This happened more than anything in my childhood. Since now in the neighborhood most people do not do it. They feel sad to see how all these traditions change. The children I used to play with are gone, and there were few houses that play music. Now everything is different. On December 8th, we usually go to see the string lights in town. There are different neighborhoods that make many decorations and decorate the houses in a surprising way. It's a customer to walk around the town, take photos, and drink something on the avenue. And so December begins, a time full of enjoy because it also begins marked by my family problems. And sometimes I do not want Christmas to come, so the same things always happen. Conflicts and lack and tranquility are customary at the time, show only with happiness. I remember a little of the Christmases of my childhood. I know that I play a lot with my cousins because I customary my father's family meets every year on the farm where several uncles come, especially those with abroad. One of the best Christmases I have ever experienced was before my grandmother passed away. My grandmother Mary was the pillar of my dad's family, so of December, before she passed away, my uncles and cousins come for and more than 13 people go together and we start the festivities. From December 16th, they read the novena Sweet Childhood of Good. They gave a coaster, sweets, and they play along with my cousins. With December 24th, come they gave us a pork sancocho because they always slaughter a pig for the wool of December and they made blood sausages, tamales, and another typical food. On the 24th, we stayed until 12 at the night and they read the novena and my Aunt Gloria gave us gifts. My Uncle Felix also and my Uncle Jaime gave us money. Everyone was very keen. Unfortunately, on this part, the grandmother was the one who loved me the most in my father's family. They not loved me, and my grandmother was the one who appreciated me the most. She gave my family blood sausages to bring, and if she gave me money, she gave it to me secretly so they wouldn't scold her. Her food was delicious, and it was a love with all my family. Then December 25, they made tamales and we played with the gifts they gave us. And from that day on, we went to the farm every day. My dad used to play cards with his brother and they called it chochada, but by the way he talks to me, and I always bring him. My father drank a lot of alcohol, something that my mother did not like very much, and I was where the problems arose because he went where his brothers and my mom was with us, my aunts, but she did not feel well. She felt displayed that were my sister and come on. We didn't know who to be with, my mom or dad, and we go to house my mom and my dad started to fight. When I was younger, my sister separated me from them, but when I was older, even though we separated, they always involved us. My mother always had a bad face, and I gave us a hard time. One of the best Christmases we had was when I turned 15. My grandmother was gone, but many uncles come to Colombia. My cousin Valentina brought shirt teachers from the whole family and we had a great time because my mother younger and participated in everything from documents. There are no memory of fines and heavy logs. The truth is that it was a good Christmas with everyone united, every touch. Grandma was not there. Christmas 2013 was very hard because that year my mother, Elvia, my mother's mother, passed away. We were not with my father's family and we spent for 13 one in a cabin farm from town. We have barbecue and some happy new year with grapes, but all very simple. We have always stayed Christmas with my father's family because there are more people and they do more things. My mother's family has done almost nothing. Only one Christmas dinner of December 24 because my cousins come from Spain and the 13th one. We celebrate with barbecue on my house, but the rest have been there one on the farm of my family on my father's brothers. On December 31, we dressed really elegantly and go to a dinner with my aunt Guillermina, and there we ate dinner and we wait until it's 12 o'clock and we ate the 12 grapes. We make 12 wishes. We keep lending our pockets to have money all the year, and we throw champagne to have prosperity. After singing countdown, we say Happy New Year. First, I give it to my parents, my sister, and the two other relatives who are present that year. From then on, everything calms down. We hear how to enable, but all dull, and we sing songs, go out with the suitcase to the street to have more trips in the next year. In the year 2021, after the pandemic, we meet with my dad's family and we had a great time. There were also bad moments, but there were more good ones. On December 31, at the congregation of my cousin Daniela, we celebrated my glorious birthday with the dinner and the party until 4 in the morning. It was spectacular. And also at 20 at the night we went out with suitcase, a proposal that my father made, and we went all the way around the farm. And to ascertain and I did that this is true because my sister went that way with the suitcase, and in January I was already what labs to travel to Spain, and I came to Armenia. So if it I can be useful, there is also the power of the mind. For the year 2022, I have proposed to my sister that she get under the table when midnight arrives so that she can get a boyfriend. Let's see what happens. I always the first day of January, wherever it is the first or the second, we go to a river. There are traditions and they have no changes. And if they change, it goes bad. Outdown one is the one who has to create an atmosphere. If the river my aunt and my mother makes an culture, rice pudding, roast banana with cheese, and we eat all day. And in the river, you jump it and enjoy the water a lot. The river that we normally go is a place called Las Palmas Street on the road Belén-Umbría. Number 10, my adventures. My mistakes on the teachings of love. I do not know what to call it about sometimes. I regret having met my two ex-boyfriends now have what I got and much less valued me because I have always been a trophy. They have never loved me for a way of beginning for my intelligence. They have always shown status in me, but not sure with the ability to occupy or to copy social position. My first boyfriend treated me very well at first. Everything was rosy colored, but in the end, as always, I was the bad one that supposedly because of me he was going to commit suicide, which never happened. My second boyfriend was another teaching and showed me not putting me with any man who maintains me and anyway because he hit me and threatened me. I put on with these ones and told him to go to hell. I had always been too bad one in history, and for a long time I blamed myself for everything they did not tell me. I thought that because I was a short-tempered or a little self-centered may hurt me, that I stopped caring what they told me. And I cut back as a man. I realized that men hate that I treated them like the trade woman, but honestly, I don't care. One day, thinking, I complained to myself because I always meet people who always let me as a bad girl. So I say, if I am the bad girl in history, I am going to the best bad girl of all. I going to get fully into the role of a bad girl. So it was. After my two mistakes or teaching come, I mean many good and bad people. In the world there is everything and you have to enjoy every moment of life, and everything is better with a good company, but the question is to find it. For the moment it is a better to life. Now is a thing about those things later, but I meet a person very similar to me. He confused me, or I don't know what I feel him because he's identical to me. He has the same shield, who traumas he heard has been broken for his half felt he has an absent parents, he studies, works, trains, but in love is identical to me. Where all my feelings accumulate and go confused too. where I found a rival who was up to the task, where instead of leaving behind my studies, my training, and my beauty, I motivate myself much more to me. I am identical to him, and the problem is that we are not going to admit we feel. We call a simple ignore to the subject. I really said these feelings towards him when we went out to a party on the weekend. I was dressed in a transparent with pants and a gold blouse. My face was pressed in makeup and my hair was super straight. I went with several friends to a reunion, including him, but we did not speak to each other for a long time until I pissed him off and asked him to dance apologetically. And the best of all is that he accepted. He will never say no to me because I will never say to him to. The problem is that neither of us talk much that night. We just can't carry away with feelings. When the party was at its best, we kissed because I tempted him all the time. I changed him with my eyes, and all the control we had vanished. Here you will draw your conclusions. The next day, I thought that we were not going to speak to each other again. That it was a simple kiss and nothing more. That we would ignore each other as he told me, but it did not happen because he wrote to me and we talked as the nothing that happened, which had me even more confused and even more so when I invited me to meet the next day. My friends say that he liked me, but the truth is that he did not trust me anyone, much less identical to me, but when the people are so alike, they usually be diminished more than the opposite Apollos. Number 11. My college admission. The universe represents freedom for me. Since my childhood, in my house, they have told me that I must study, that I have a career, even if it's to get ahead because my mom too got ahead because of her studies. So it's something I have had in mind since I was little, an opportunity that I think Colombia can have, and more that entering a public university where I know that everything can be more difficult, but here I will grow as a professional. From my sister, I learned that university was horrible because she studied nursing and I do not like anything that has to do with health, and because I am afraid of injection, I do not like to see blood or things like that. My mom is a teacher and all our life she taught of love education, and here is one of the reasons why I want to be English teacher. English opened the doors for you. I grew up with this famous phrase, which I consider very real and beautiful. Through the experience of my young age of 6 years, my English teachers always say that English creates too many opportunities in life, including that her classes were always didactic and different from other subjects because we always seek to learn English in a better way, and in either in a fun way or in a conventional way. So I speak. I want to know why. Begin another language. It was so expensive to learn it, and I undertook the plan to allow me to study at Barchelor degree in the modern languages with the emphasis of English and French. In a stellar in the English classes at my school and the famous English Day in a public educational institutions, I was never afraid to try to learn English. I was took risks because I felt I had the capacity, and that's how it was. My mom noticed that I felt certain affinity for the language, and she put me in English classes for 2 years. Then I decided to leave too. Then with the excuse that I did not have time. Years later, a school I returned to private English classes where I had an excellent teacher who made me feel in love fall in love with the teaching and learning English. I live everything through experience, reconciling that I am a person with a different learning style than I always prefer to feel and then to observe. I give to the sample of my professional and vocational shows. My interests were based on the group experience and I love trust me the private classes, the exploration, the ability with the sounds to be able to have a better pronunciation and all the simulations. And again, I was involved in to learn different words. English gave me diversity on the phone that other areas of subjects never gave me that. So when I really knew that this is my career and had more experiences taught me by time at the school such as sustain or preschool English teacher friend. This begin was the less enjoyable experience I have had because I did say that I did not feel comfortable teaching small children or people who were still too dispersed from the topics. Probably I love English, but the educational part of the children's level is not like my liking. After many months, I had another experience of helping a teacher with the English day, and there I realized that teenagers or other people were my forte because they not only understood or had fun, but also questioned and analyzed what I was saying in order to win the English day, with which I came to a conclusion that I like to have foundation and my educational preference go to people with a greater capacity for internationalization that I can explain to them. To conclude, my vocational and professional orientation they go hand in the hand because I don't limit my field the professionals with my field of my vocation, but rather I found the middle point, the perfect balance where I feel comfortable with my shows every day and verified in what I have been in career. English opens the door and not only in a professional way but also the way of sending the world. It changes their perspective on everything and breaks down the barriers that only one language imposes. English and French provide the opportunities and together with the vocational experiences life taught me. My short life I realized that each step toward learn and teach English or French. Not only do they do an intellectual job, but they perfectly describe what I seek for my life, and that is a freedom, begin to able choose a country, travel and communicate. Became friendly so many different ways thanks to learn another languages is overwhelming and beautiful. English changed my life and education helped me make it fun. Number 11, 12. My projects in the future. My plan for the future was to go to university and no more. I had no more dreams or plans. I just wanted to get into college, and it still is because I like being to a college. I love what I want. I know, but thinking what I am going to or be in 10 years is impossible because I am a very changeable and impossible person. At the moment, my plans for the future are go to an exchange abroad. Living that experience will be great, graduate from the university and look for a job if whatever comes up. But the ideal would to be live Colombia. I love my country, my culture, my family, but I want to have a very quality of life. I want to travel, see new places, eat different food, learn new cultures, but I also want to have a big family, have 3 children and a great husband, having a beautiful house and all the cliche. I am very diverse. I want all the cliche of love, but I want all my freedom. I suppose that there are all stages of life and I am the stage where living in the moment is what is important. That I do well at university and had a good career are important. So my plan for the future at this time with all the wars in the world, pollution, and this is in the young life. What I have and what I am enjoy every laugh, every joke, every kiss, and feel everything. Feel as much and as I can to feel alive. My aspiration in life is to be happy.